Tahj Brooks is the key to beat Colorado in this week's matchup.
100% red shirt. I mean, I guess preview if we do end up talking about this game, and when we get to game picks, I'll give everyone a little sneak peek as to what my pick is. I do have Texas Tech beating Colorado, and Tahj Brooks is the primary reason why, especially after after seeing how Colorado has at times struggled against the run. And Tahj Brooks already over 1,000 yards. He's had 100 yards rushing in every single game of this season, so he is extremely consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I see them having a difficult time, especially because quarterback Baron Morton out there in Lubbock, very talented as well. So they're going to be able to, have a balanced offense. But Brooks is extremely, extremely dangerous, and I think he is going to be the centerpiece attacking this Buffs defense, and I think he should be, but I think he will.
Yeah, 5.1 yards a carry so far this season. He has scored on every single team outside of Arizona State so far, but he's averaging around like 130 yards a game or something ridiculous like that. If you guys never seen Tahj Brooks run the ball, man, he's definitely been on the Doak Walker watch list. He is the heart and soul of that offense. I don't care what anybody says. I know, our guy out there, quarterback, Baron Morton, he had his worst statistical game coming off this weekend, and they still were able to squeak a win out. 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Nothing to scoff at for sure on the season statistics, but out of every team that they've played, let's check out Colorado's schedule and kind of do some.
Well, this past week, I just checked. They allowed over 5 yards a carry and like 170 yards against Cincinnati. I think it was Corey Kiner, their lead back, also averaged over 5 yards a carry. So if that is any indication of what we might see this weekend, it'll be a long day for Colorado.
Well, of course, they struggled against Nebraska because that's been their only loss this season, right? And Dowdle had 74 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, Kansas State as well. They lost to K-State.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, and Kansas State. Yeah. You're right. And then they went against Robertson down there in Baylor, who was the quarterback. He had 82 yards on him. RJ Harvey had over 150 yards in the game total. So, they struggle against him. Same thing with Giddens had 182 yards from Kansas State. So out of everything, one thing that they can expose a team on, and the teams that have beaten them up to this point have had really good running games. South Dakota State as a whole was kind of a handful for them to deal with at the beginning of the game. So I think if you could put pressure on Shedeur and run the ball, you're most likely going to win, because the teams that have won up to this point have done that in some capacity, or just incapacitated them completely, a couple drives like Kansas State has. So I don't know. I think, I have Texas Tech also winning that game, but Tahj Brooks is definitely the heartbeat of that team, and dude is a beast, man. I don't know if you guys have ever seen him run the ball. He reminds me of Maurice Jones-Drew running the rock. So
he doesn't get talked about enough, and he's been excellent for multiple years now. But it's just Texas Tech is always associated with the air raid offense, and so guys like the Tahj Brooks or even a DeAndre Washington,
Tyler Shough was there last year.
Yeah, you got some running backs who just don't get talked about enough because of, I guess, the stereotyping of Texas Tech and how they're always throwing the ball. But Brooks is really changing that narrative, and I think a big game against Colorado could really establish himself as one of the better backs in the country, especially because he is draft eligible.
Yeah, for sure. So super excited to see what do you think his stat line is going to be in this game? Along the same?
I think they get him. I think they're going to get him the ball a good 20 to 25 times on the ground, and I can see him rushing in the 100 to 150 mark. 150 if he has a big game, right? But he should eclipse the century mark this week. Colorado allows over 150 yards per game on the ground, and they're 79th in the country in that metric. But I think that Brooks is going to have a big game. Definitely continuing his streak of 100-yard games, though.
Facts.